Hi guys, I'm so excited to talk to you about the masterpiece that is James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. This thing is pure adrenaline from beginning to end, and I can't wait to dive into my spoiler-free review for The Suicide Squad. Now, if this is your first time here, I'd love it if you take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the content, go ahead and hit that notification bell. And especially if you want to see my spoiler review, which will be coming up after it has been released everywhere, probably on August 6th. Maybe the evening of August 5th. We'll see. All right, guys, let's talk about The Suicide Squad.
Hey, Tessa from MamasGeeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel.
All right, guys, I sat down to watch this, and as soon as it started, and of course I saw it in IMAX, by the way, let me preface this by saying this movie needs to be seen on the biggest screen possible. The biggest screen. This thing was made for IMAX, and it's very clear it was made for IMAX. It's big. It's absolutely amazing. The action is incredible. But let me start off by saying that the first scene, I was immediately like, oh, this is where we're going. This is going to be really good. And then the second scene, I was like, okay, this is really good. And the next scene, this is really good. There's not one scene in this movie that I would cut out. There's not one scene in this movie that I think is a little long, because in this movie, this is James Gunn being told, do what you want, here you go. And it's so very obvious that James Gunn went full James Gunn, and you guys, it is glorious. This movie it's perfect. I can't come up with one negative thing about this movie because every single thing in it is done for a reason, okay? Every single scene is shot for a reason. Every single piece of dialogue is there for a reason. It's hilarious. The action is just off the wall. I mean, this whole thing is off the wall. It's crazy. I mean, they say don't get attached. Don't get attached. But you will love every single member of this squad, from the person that dies maybe first to people that don't die. I mean, every single one of these squad members, Suicide Squad members, you are going to have a piece of your heart for. And that is why I love this movie so much. Now, it's no surprise I wasn't a giant fan of the first Suicide Squad. I just felt like there wasn't any character development, and I felt like the story was all over the place, you know? People were dying, and you're like, who is that person? I forget, you know? And especially if you don't know the comics, like, you can't connect to it, you know what I mean? I knew who the person was, but, like, I'm sitting there with people watching it, and they're like, I don't know who that person is, and you have to kind of explain their comic book backstory to these people. You shouldn't have to do that. People should be able to go watch this movie whether they know literally nothing about the comic books and just enjoy it for what it is. And that's what I love about this version of the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's version. You get enough of each person that you understand who they are, you connect to them, you kind of love them, and then maybe they're ripped away from you violently, and you're like, thanks, James Gunn, I cared about that character. And this continues to happen throughout the movie. That said, I mean, there are some standouts for sure. I could literally go down the list of every single person and tell you why I love them. But of course, that could definitely get into spoilers. So I'm just going to talk about the standouts real quick, although I'm not really going to give you any details as to why I really love them so much. But let me tell you that Ratcatcher 2 is pretty much the heart of this movie. I just absolutely enjoy the emotion and the goodness that comes from that character. Another standout, Polka Dot Man. I mean, again, with like an emotional arc, an emotional story. You get that backstory, and there's some really hilarious moments. Plus, I mean, David's delivery. Like, just his actual delivery, okay? The look on his face when he delivers these lines, the subtle way he delivers them, it's perfect. And the looks of this character is amazing as well. I mean, all of the looks of all the characters are amazing. Their costumes, whenever CGI is used, it's like spot on. The visual effects are spot on. I mean, it's insane how beautiful this movie is, because while it is filled with gore and blood, it is still absolutely gorgeous. But let's get back to the characters. I mean, Bloodsport is one of my favorite characters in this. I think Idris really did a fantastic job, again, with emotion and delivery and heart, and still being badass. Like, that is what all of these characters have in common, I think. But I absolutely love seeing him and Peacemaker. They get into a little bit of a competition a couple times throughout this, and I like their competitive nature, and just the two of them together are a complete blast, and they're so So much fun. Of course, Rick Flag is back and he's fantastic again. I mean, there's just so much that I can talk about every single character and how each and every one of them capture my heart. Sebastian, that's Ratcatcher 2's rat. Like, it's like perfect, right? I absolutely love that rat. And I don't like rats. So somehow James Gunn has made me care about rats. This is crazy. I don't want to care about rats, and now I care about rats. So thanks. Life-changing. This was life-changing movie, guys. Starro had the potential to look a little ridiculous. Let's be honest here. It's a giant starfish from space that squirts out little tiny starfish. So the fact that Starro looked amazing, super scary, super freaky, but amazing was so good. Like, I love having Starro in this movie. I think every moment that Starro is in it is fantastic. I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, but there's a moment towards the end that I really, really loved. But let me just say that Starro looks incredible, and Starro is incredible, and Starro has an incredible role in this movie. Let's talk about Harley Quinn for a minute. One of the main reasons I didn't love Suicide Squad is I guess I didn't love that Harley. I thought, okay, but like, don't get me wrong, I think Margot Robbie was perfect. I just think the writing and direction wasn't as spot on as it could have been. I think Margot's delivery was great, but I just wanted more, maybe something a little different, a little deeper. I'm not really sure what I needed until I saw James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Listen, this is the best Harley performance that I've ever seen from Margot Robbie. And it's largely in part due to, or maybe it's both, right? But like, the writing and directing from James Gunn is just, I was like, yeah, this is Harley. She's crazy. But she's gone on this arc where, and this journey where like she's, I'm trying to not give spoilers. I just think she's absolutely fantastic. Again, with the delivery, the dialogue, the things she does, and then how she justifies them. The conversations she has literally inside her head and outside of her head. Like, she's my Harley. And I couldn't help but beam when I saw her on the screen during every single moment that she was on there. She's just absolutely fantastic. King Shark, I mean, gosh, the way he talks is hilarious. Like, he's so funny. And that's the thing about this. Like, there's so much blood and gore, which you guys know I love blood and gore. And I think it was the right amount used here. And then it's also, like, hilarious. Like, you could be watching an insane action fight, there's blood, gore, all this stuff going on, and then, like, something happens, and then you're laughing until you have tears streaming down your face, and it's like, how did I just go from, like, oh my god, this is so grotesque and bizarre and amazing, and I love it, to, like, ha 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 ha, this is so funny, ha ha ha. It just shows how brilliant James Gunn really is, that he can make this come together and work. It works, you guys, and that's the best part about this. The story is so good. Like, it's a really good story, and the way it is told is amazing. The way he changes between, I guess you could call them chapters for lack of a better word, is so creative, so brilliant. I want to say one of the best parts of the movie, but let's be honest, everything about the movie is the best part of the movie. The cinematography is amazing. Nearly every single shot of this movie I would snap as a poster and hang it on my wall. There's one in particular with King Shark. I do believe it is in a trailer, but I know some people avoid trailers, so I don't want to exactly say what it is. I would hang that on my wall. There's one with Harley, several with Harley, anything with Harley that I would totally hang on my wall, but there's some in particular that come into my mind right now, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but the cinematography is incredible. The way this thing looks is amazing. The way the camera just moves during certain scenes, the sweeping shots, the massive scale, the action, the incredible combination of humor, blood, gore, and the soundtrack. Now, in true James Gunn fashion, the soundtrack is basically another character of this movie. It helps to tell the story. I've had a lot of people ask me to give them a track list or mention at least a couple of songs that are in this movie, and I refuse to. I just think you need to experience it for what it is, because each and every one makes that moment and that scene just elevates it to a whole new level. Again, in true James Gunn fashion, I mean, we all should be used to this. This is how he operates. He makes the music a part of the story, and it's the same thing with the Suicide Squad, and it works. Again, it absolutely works. There were moments I cried because I was laughing so hard. There were moments my jaw was on the floor because I was like, oh my God, they just went there. And then there's moments where I was crying for other emotional reasons. I mean, the Suicide Squad is perfect. It is freaking perfect, you guys. I want to say a different word, but I try not to swear too much on my channel. But it's that perfect, you guys, from beginning to end. It is a hard R, so don't bring children. Like, as badly as I want my kids to go see this, I'm like, I don't think they can see it just yet. There's some parts that are maybe a little too far. But I can't wait till they're old enough to watch it because I'm going to have a flipping blast sitting here watching it with them. Because this movie is so much fun. I'm going to see it again several times over opening weekend in IMAX. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it again and again and again and again. This is definitely one of those movies that you will have as much fun watching the 50th time as, that's a word, as you do the first. It's such an incredible movie. I'm sure there's more I want to say about it, but I'm so afraid to give spoilers, so I will just leave you with the fact that this thing is pure adrenaline from beginning to end. The cast is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. The cinematography is amazing. The humor is amazing. The action is amazing. The blood and gore level is amazing. Every single thing about this is amazing. It's perfect. It's perfect. I give the Suicide Squad a 5 out of 5. Should be no shock to you there. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Are you excited for this movie? Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. You can follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at MamasGeeky over there. MamasGeeky. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much to all of my monetary supporters, my members here on YouTube, as well as my patrons. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. We have some really awesome perks, including a monthly Zoom meeting where we get to talk face to face. Thank you again to everyone who supports me.